Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about this tweet, and I'm not going to share the Twitter handle. I don't want to put anyone on blast. Like, I did retweet this, but we have I think almost the exact same number of followers, but it's a little bit different on YouTube because I have 160 something thousand subscribers. Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit different. So anyway, the tweet that I'm talking about is this one. It's this picture of a really extensive cheese section in some store, and it's supposed to be countering the argument that hey, veganism is really restrictive, you guys can't have cheese, with hey, but look at all these cheese alternatives, we can totally have cheese. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never in my life ever seen a vegan cheese section that looks like that. Number one, I've never seen a vegan cheese section. It's always, even at the Whole Foods that I've been to, the vegan section is all one thing. And they've got, the Tofurky, and they've got maybe the Cho cheese, the Daiya cheese, all that kind of stuff in one section. Like at our grocery store, the yogurt is kind of off to the side, close to the section, but a little bit off. The non-dairy milks is with the other non-dairy milks. And also there's some over with the regular milk, which is cool. And the same in Whole Foods. The Miyoko's butter and some of the Kite Hill cheeses are kind of off in another section, and the milks and stuff. But in terms of the cheese, I've never seen just an all vegan cheese section like this. And to be clear, I live in one of the most vegan friendly cities in the world. And again, I've not seen anything like this. There's stuff here I've never even seen before. I mean, number one, look at all the Daiya. Look at all the Daiya shreds, I think that is. In our store, you have the cheddar shreds, you have the mozzarella shreds. Half the time the cheddar is out of stock. They've got just all the Miyokos, it looks like. I don't even know what those are. I don't think I've tried any of those. I think they're the cheese wheels. I think I've tried 2 of those. There's a bunch of what looks like some sort of hard cheese or something next to it. That looks awesome. I have no idea what that is. There's some sort of soft dip or something above that. No idea what that is. There's stuff below the Miyokos, no idea what that is. There's more Miyokos down below. There's, I think that's Follow Your Heart, Heidi Ho, and then a bunch of Daiya below. It looks like the Daiya blocks, or maybe the slices, which I never see anywhere. We have the cheddar block, and I can't remember what the other one is. And that's it. And I said, the 2 shreds. And that's all I ever see. So again, that's incredible. And then the Cho cheese, which I've never seen Cho cheese in a grocery store. They do actually have it at Walmart, which is pretty cool. But before, we always had to get it at Whole Foods. So just for comparison, just to show you, this is what it looks like in our grocery store. This is a huge grocery store. It's the one that we go to most often. And again, this looks nothing like what they showed. You can see a couple of what I was talking about, the Miyoko's cheese wheels in the upper left. I think that's the Miyoko's butter above it. There's some Earth Balance. And there's some non-vegan stuff in the middle there. There's some miso, there's a bunch of tofu, there's some I think kimchi and stuff. Some, what is that brand? The Frankfurter's brand. They make the Cho cheese, Field Roast. There's some Light Life down there, some Just Mayo, some corn, that's not vegan. They do have some vegan stuff though. They have these patties that my partner absolutely loves. I don't know. They're not really for me. But he really likes them. So definitely try those if you've seen those, because a lot of people have said that they really like that. What is it? Mycoprotein, I think. It's not soy, it's not pea, it's nothing like that. They really like that taste, and that comes the closest to chicken. So if you have access to that, definitely try it. But that's not down here. That's in the frozen section, the other meat. What do they call it? Meat alternative section. They've got corn. They've got the Morningstar Farms. They have a few vegan things. Yeah, so they've got the Light Life. I think they're moving to all vegan. All of their products. They're removing all the egg. I think some of their products have egg and milk. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if they've done that yet. You can see the Smart Dogs down there. Again, there's bacon on the left, right? This is not even an all vegan section. Okay, and then over more to the left. Okay, you can see some of the Silk yogurt on the left there. There's those tofu noodle things, whatever those are. I don't know if I've actually tried those. The Tofurky slices, some jackfruit stuff on the bottom there. Again, some meat shit at the bottom. Cool. I mean, look, if it means that someone's going to get that in particular, and then they're seeing maybe the jackfruit thing or the Tofurky slices and they try that, that's fine. I'll just ignore it and pretend it's not there. Okay, up here you can see this is the cheese section. Again, not all of this is vegan. So you've got that soy whatever that's called, Soysation or something like that. That has casein in it. And then next to it, you can see the Daiya, the 2 blocks I was talking about, the shreds, which they actually had in stock, so that was cool. And I think below that, those blocks, I think those are the almond ones that also have casein in them. So not complaining at all with what we have. And again, we do have like a Trader Joe's, which has a couple, not really much actually as far as cheese goes at all. They have some mozzarella shreds that aren't bad. They're definitely different because I think they're almond based maybe. Or they're just really starchy. I don't think there's any like coconut oil or anything in them. And we have Whole Foods that we never go to because it's really far. The closest one to us is like 20 minutes. So like there's no way I'm going to make a 40-minute, round trip to Whole Foods like just for like Cho cheese or something, or like Kite Hill. I don't feel good about that. So yeah, I'm not complaining about this spread. It's not bad by any means, but it's nowhere near this. My point, obviously, is that I think this is really misleading because, like, who has access to this? Most of us don't have access to this. I'm guessing this photo was taken at, like, an all-vegan store. I think someone else said that. That makes a lot of sense. And I actually do have an all-vegan store. They have 2 locations here. But we never go there because both of the locations are too far from us. Again, it's like a 20+ minute drive. And also, it's not like, even if you had a section like this, it's not like it's a 1-to-1 comparison in terms of taste. It's not like you can pick up a block of Daiya or a block of like cheddar cheese and it's the same. It's the same taste experience. Like, come on. I think that one thing that like most people agree on, including a lot of vegans, is that vegan cheese is not great. Like even looking at the spread, like there's some of the stuff, I don't want that. That nut cheese, the stuff in the red looking bag, I think I tried that on the channel before. That was not good and very expensive. The tree line, also very expensive and was pretty bland. And Daiya, I don't mind Daiya. Like I actually kind of like it. But it's like, you're not going to fool anyone. Like anyone who tastes it's you're like, yeah, that's not cheese. And also the melt factor is not really there. Cho cheese is definitely my favorite cheese of all the vegan ones that I've tried. But some of you have told me that like you hate it. It's still not good. So even if someone did have this spread, it doesn't mean that they would want to purchase any of this or that it would actually like fulfill their desire for cheese. And as I already mentioned, like this stuff's expensive. It varies in price. Like Daiya is going to be cheaper than like Miyoko's or something, but it's all pretty expensive. Like you can buy a whole pound of cheddar cheese for $4.29, or you can buy this tiny 7-ounce block of Daiya cheese for $4.99. I'm sure this person meant well by posting this, just wanting to show that like, look, we have lots of cheese alternative. There are a lot of different brands, a lot of different options. That's really great. But I think the way that it's worded, the way that it's kind of positioned, I think it mostly only appeals to other vegans who want to believe or want to promote that veganism is just so easy and that it's not restrictive. Which is ridiculous. I mean, we know from just multiple people telling us so that it's not super easy. And also, by definition, it's restrictive. If you have a diet that omits certain foods, it's restrictive. So I think most people, including most vegans, would look at this picture and go, okay, this is not representative of most stores, at least not any of the stores I've been to. Number 2, all of this stuff doesn't necessarily taste very good. And number 3, it's all pretty expensive. Vegans are often accused of being like really privileged and really out of touch with just normal people. And I think tweets like this really feed into that stereotype. And, maybe that's because it's a stereotype that has a lot of truth to it. I mean, look, if you are vegan who is able to find and able to spend money on mock meats and vegan cheeses, you are pretty privileged. A lot of people couldn't do that even if they wanted to, or they literally just don't have access to those products in the first place. That's not to say that just being privileged in and of itself is a bad thing. Like, my family, we're very privileged to live where we do, to have access to the vegan foods and the vegan restaurants that we do. Like I don't even know how many options for vegan donuts. It's ridiculous. But privilege does become a problem when we act as though we don't have it and we don't recognize that other people aren't as privileged as we are and don't have access to the things that we have access to. And I think it makes us bad advocates ultimately because we just end up alienating people. Again, most people look at this like, yeah, okay, what? Like you're just in your own little vegan bubble if you think this is what the world looks like. Now, I do want to say that, of course, you don't have to eat meat alternatives and like coconut oil cheeses in order to go vegan. Obviously, you can make and live on like a whole food vegan diet, obviously with important supplements like B12, and live very cheaply on like mostly grains and beans. And a lot of people can do that because a lot more people have access to grains and beans. But that means, number one, only eating like whole foods, like fruits and vegetables and grains and beans and stuff, which a lot of people don't want to do. Most people don't want to do. And number two, cooking food, which again, a lot of people don't want to do or even don't have the time to do. This is why I'm always so stoked about just more plant-based products coming out, products that are supposed to mimic, meat and cheese, even if they're not doing super great all of the time. I think we're getting closer and closer and closer, and that's awesome. And obviously, I'm even more excited about in vitro meat. The reality is that people love meat. They love cheese. They love egg. They want to keep eating these products, and they don't want to sacrifice. Unfortunately, it is a sacrifice to a lot of people. They don't want to sacrifice that taste for something that at worst tastes bad and at best tastes like, hey, that's pretty good, but it's still not X. It's still not meat. It's still not cheese. It's still not whatever. I think we have a couple examples of things that some people have said, wow, that tastes like meat, obviously Impossible Burger, but that's not actually in stores yet, right? So we're just not there yet. Once we have the exact same products without the cruelty, without the animal cruelty, that's when we're going to see a real decline in animal suffering, I think. I think when these products are comparable in taste, in texture, in price, in availability, I don't think most people are still going to choose real quote unquote meat, because I think most people know deep down that it's not right. But it's so easy right now to just justify it. But I don't think it'll be that easy when you have these two options in front of you. One is cruel and the other isn't. I don't think most people are going to go, no, I just want the cruel one. Yes, you'll still have some people that like, no, it's not natural, so I don't want it. And look, you'll probably still have some people who say, well, no, I really don't care about animals. I'm going to buy it anyway. Fine. But I really think those are going to be the minority. So yeah, let's just please be careful about how we present veganism and, eating less animal products to people. And always remember that a lot of us, especially those of us who have Whole Foods, who have Trader Joe's, even if the cheese section or the vegan section looks nothing like this, we are very privileged. I mean, there are still people around the world, even in the US, who can't find tofu. A couple of things I think that would really help is, number one, admitting that going vegan has a pretty large learning curve and is not the easiest thing to do. And number two, recognizing and encouraging any small improvement. Most people are not willing to go vegan, period, but more and more people are willing to reduce their animal product consumption. And most people can do that just by replacing a few meals with like whole vegan plant-based meals. Then there's no real pressure to even find replacements for meat, for, cheese, because they're not giving up those things completely, right? It's just a few meals a week, let's say, that they are having like no meat, no cheese. And then I don't think it's as much of a sacrifice, right? To like, oh, okay, you're having like some sort of bean grain thing, some sort of pasta dish or something with beans for dinner. It's not that big of a deal because like the next day you're going to have cheese again. I think that's far more doable than give up cheese forever and replace it with this expensive kind of sort of cheddary stuff that doesn't melt for shit. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I will say that on the topic of eating vegan cheaply, much more cheaply, I am working on a dollar store vegan video because we do have a dollar store near us and we picked up actually way more than we thought we'd be able to get. So that was kind of exciting. I think I've seen at least one video, dollar store vegan, and I thought that was pretty cool. So hopefully you guys like that. I should have that out. I don't know, actually. I need to work. We just got everything yesterday, so I need to go through everything and come up with some stuff. But that should be interesting. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, that's cool. Support the channel. And I will have a new video very soon. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that sort of thing. Like, on the one hand, I feel like, well, you made something public. You know, it shouldn't matter if you have 100,000 followers or 100 followers. Like, you know, this is a public platform. You know that anyone can see this and anyone can criticize you over this. But on the other hand, as someone with a kind of substantial following, kind of, depending on how you define that, I don't know. I don't feel good about being like, hey, what you did isn't cool, and sharing it with way more people than this person could have possibly thought would ever see it. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, it's always possible that something you tweet will go viral, but it's very unlikely. And I'm not saying my responding to it's going to make it go viral, but I don't know. I think you know what I mean. And I just go back and forth. Anyway, I would love your thoughts on that, because I am obviously divided. I need help, is what I'm saying.